My wife's affair exposed by her own parents, a $2 million twist. I never imagined my life would spiral into this chaotic mess of betrayal, heartbreak, and a mind-blowing inheritance offer. It all started a year into my marriage with Nicole, the woman I thought I'd spend forever with, when the unbelievable truth of her infidelity slammed into me like a runaway train. But the real shocker, it was her own parents who pulled the emergency brake and revealed everything, advising me to file for divorce immediately. Nicole was the only child of Frank and Leah, the heads of a massive pharmaceutical empire. We met on a dating app 3 years ago, and I fell hard and fast. After a year of blissfully cohabitating, I proposed, and we tied the knot in what I believed was the start of our happily ever after. Frank and Leah, my in-laws, were incredible. They embraced me from day one, treating me like the son they never had, which was especially meaningful considering my own emotionally stunted upbringing. They were warm, generous, and surprisingly down-to-earth despite their wealth, and I genuinely felt like I had found my family with them. Little did I know, this picture-perfect image was about to shatter into a million pieces. Now, Frank and Leah want to make me the successor to a staggering $2 million inheritance, a compensation for Nicole's affair. The offer left me reeling. On one hand, it's an insane amount of money that could change my life. On the other, it feels like blood money rightfully belonging to Nicole, and only being offered because of her betrayal. Nicole, understandably, is absolutely furious. My lawyer has reviewed the documents, and the gravity of the situation is undeniable. Accepting this offer would irrevocably alter Nicole's future. Despite the immense hurt and financial hardship I'm facing, I'm struggling to reconcile whether taking this money is the right thing to do. Nicole and I always seemed to have a connection. When my in-laws requested a serious conversation at their home, I had no inkling the bomb they were about to drop. Nicole's work within her father's company, heading recruitment, allowed her parents a watchful eye. They noticed her spending an exorbitant amount of time with a new, much younger hire barely out of college at 21. It was legal, yes, but deeply unsettling that Nicole, seemingly happily married, felt compelled to seek affection elsewhere. Her parents confronted her, but she brushed it off, claiming they were merely close colleagues. This raised alarm bells. Beyond the potential impact on our marriage, her parents feared potential legal ramifications given Nicole's position over this young man. Despite their persistent inquiries, Nicole remained adamant there was nothing more to it. Unconvinced and increasingly concerned, they hired a private investigator. Their findings: Nicole was frequently visiting this man after work, spinning tales of friends or work commitments to me. The truth was devastating. I genuinely loved Nicole, and a part of me still does. Learning about her months-long deceit left me shattered. I remember the weight of the revelation during that meeting with Frank and Leah. They, too, were heartbroken, knowing Nicole would never confess on her own. They reassured me that it wasn't my fault, that they had seen how well I treated Nicole. That night, I couldn't bear to face her home and stayed with them, the pain and unbearable weight in my chest. The next morning, I returned home before Nicole left for work, a ghost of my former self. Her surprise at my unexpected appearance quickly morphed into concern. I confronted her, asking directly about the affair. Initially, she denied it, but faced with irrefutable evidence, photos of her car parked outside his apartment, her facade crumbled. She admitted everything. I broke down, the pain far more intense than the night before, knowing it was all true. She confessed to boredom, to losing sight of what mattered, claiming the affair meant nothing. Those words cut deeper than any blade. We screamed, we cried, we broke. She collapsed, writhing in tears, confessing her foolishness. I remember yelling about trust, about how I had always been there for her, about how she had thrown it all away for someone she barely knew. The scene was pure chaos, a horrific nightmare. When the dust settled, I told her it was over, demanding she leave her home. She begged for another chance, promising to end things with the other man. But I couldn't bear to be near her, the memories too fresh, the betrayal too profound. She refused to leave, prompting me to do the unthinkable. I packed nothing and drove away, directionless, ending up in a cheap motel miles from anywhere. Despite my attempts to process and forgive, the chasm between us remained unbridgeable. After 3 agonizing days, I filed for divorce. I haven't spoken to Nicole since leaving, but my in-laws have been a constant source of support. Their advice has been immensely helpful, and I have been very transparent with them about my situation and feelings. Things have gone from bad to worse. I had to take an unexplained leave from work. My employer has informed me that I may be terminated if I do not return soon. To make matters worse, I am also struggling at work. I had to take an unexplained leave of absence, since I was unable to commute from the hotel, which is in the middle of nowhere. I am almost out of paid leave, and my employer recently called me to inform me that if I do not return to work soon, I will be terminated. This added to my worries because I have huge bills coming up. divorce, and I'll need to start looking for a new home to live. I have been discussing all of this with my in-laws and their conversations, expecting little support, but they shocked me. They told me that Nicole had put me in this situation. I had no idea what they were going to do, but a few hours later, they requested me to come to their house right away. Nicole was present, and they wanted us to sort things out, not necessarily about the divorce, but at least about who would reside in the house. They proposed that Nicole stay with them, while I require the house just to keep my work. I was hesitant to go, because I did not want to confront Nicole, but my in-laws persuaded me, and I eventually accepted. When I arrived at their house, I was frightened to meet Nicole after such a long time, but I tried not to let it show. For the first several minutes, we avoided looking at each other. We didn't notice each other's existence until my in-laws began conversing. My in-laws offered that I take over the house so Nicole could live with them, which made sense, given that they all worked in the same place. Losing the house would be a significant issue for me, because it would mean losing my work without a solid place to live. Then something unexpected occurred. Nicole began protesting that she did not see why she had to be the one to make such sacrifices. She said it was my fault we were divorcing, and informed her parents that they, as her parents, should be on her side, rather than mine. She accused them of supporting a cheater, which baffled us all. We stared at her, waiting for her to clarify what she was saying. Her tone was furious and full of conviction, and I began to believe she might have something to say that made sense. Unfortunately, she began spewing total rubbish, and I immediately knew she was just trying to make me look terrible in front of her parents, so they wouldn't support me. Nicole had no idea her parents had told me about the affair, so she probably assumed I had hired an investigator to collect those images myself. Nicole, completely oblivious of her parents' involvement, began fabricating a story, alleging that I was having an affair with a mutual friend. She stated she had noticed how cozy the two of us were whenever we hung together, and she even supplied manipulated images, just to make it appear as if I was romantically involved with my friend. Nicole stated that her own affair occurred because she was hurt after discovering my alleged adultery, and that she only went out with her coworker as a form of revenge. She explained to her parents that now that everything was out in the open, she expected them to kick me out of the house and cut relations with me. She insisted that they discontinue their friendship with me, because she was convinced I had duped them into thinking I was a victim. Nicole also accused me of planting the meeting with her parents in order to portray myself as innocent. At that point, I knew Nicole had made a serious mistake. She had just dug herself a hole with her lies. Given the circumstances, that was an extremely poor decision. Sure enough, her mother began ranting at her almost immediately, claiming she couldn't believe Nicole believed they'd fall for her falsehoods and badly altered images. Nicole was visibly moved by her mother's reaction. Her parents indicated that they had expected her to be honest after being caught. They even apologized, claiming that they had failed to raise her correctly if she had become this person. Then came the big reveal. My in-laws revealed to Nicole that they had informed me about her affair and handed me the images. There was no point in lying anymore because everyone knew the truth. Nicole's expression at that moment was indescribable. A massive battle erupted, which was unavoidable. Nicole felt betrayed and despised the fact that her parents had always treated me as if I were their own son, while willing to sell off their own flesh and blood. Her mother understandably called her stupid for not realizing sooner that they were the ones who informed me about the affair. After all, they had asked her about it several times, asking if she had a relationship with her coworker, which she had continuously denied. Nicole said that it had crossed her mind that her parents might have notified me, but she disregarded the possibility, feeling that as her parents, they would show her loyalty regardless of what she did. The dispute lasted a bit before Nicole rushed out, claiming she didn't want to speak to any of us anymore. She stormed off, leaving me agitated because she'd had enough of everyone. I felt sorry for her, because I could imagine how difficult it must be not to have your own parents on your side. After things had settled down, my in-laws informed me that they had made up their minds. They intended to modify their will and make me the sole successor to their inheritance, believing Nicole did not deserve it and that I was a better choice. It was a big decision, and I was hesitant to accept such a significant quantity of money, knowing that it would essentially be stolen from Nicole. I told them I needed some time to think it over because it was a huge deal, and I couldn't just agree without thinking about the repercussions. I wanted to make sure I was making the proper decision, so I requested time. They promised me that I would have plenty of time to make my decision. It's been a few days, and I'm still unclear whether it's the moral and ethical thing to do. While Nicole did break our marriage by infidelity, the amount I would inherit from her is significant, and I am not sure if it is fair. I've been thinking about it, and that is why I am here, to determine whether it is okay for me to accept my cheating. Soon-to-be ex-wife's $2 million inheritance. Update. Thank you for your helpful feedback and support. I'm doing well emotionally, thanks to God. I've also talked to my friends about it, and they believe I should accept the money. After all, Nicole not only cheated, but provided false images to make it appear as if I was the one cheating. Her parents might have believed her if they hadn't already learned the truth. Nicole was ready to go to such efforts to avoid culpability. So I have no need to feel terrible about accepting the inheritance. I have made up my mind that I will not reject it. Nicole didn't care about my sentiments when she was out there destroying our marriage for a guy she barely knew. If she is going to be angry with anyone, it should not be me. Update 2. I contacted my in-laws and informed them that I was willing to accept their offer. They were overjoyed and expressed gratitude for the opportunity to make things right following Nicole's actions. They informed me that Nicole had ceased contact with them and blocked them on all platforms. Following our argument, she had also submitted her 2-week notice and quit her work, as had her affair partner. I knew Nicole enjoyed her profession. When he retired, now he must find someone else. Nicole is clearly eager to give up everything, because she refuses to accept responsibility for her own actions. My father-in-law's voice seemed disappointed. Despite Nicole's mistakes, she remains her daughter and only child. It fascinated me that my in-laws emphasized doing the right thing, over catering to their daughter's desires, which very few parents would do. I attempted to console them, but words weren't enough, so I decided to go see them tomorrow and spend some time with them. I know they must be lonely and hurt. Update 3. I've been staying in a motel for a few weeks now after leaving my residence. Unfortunately, I was dismissed from my work, but the good news is that my father-in-law spoke with a friend and found me a far better job at his buddy's company, so I guess it's all okay. The divorce proceedings have begun, and Nicole and I are pretty tense whenever we meet with the mediator. It's difficult for me to ignore her, but I need to. Nicole has already started dating and moved in with the other guy, which I know for a fact. I'm not shocked, but I am rather disappointed. I expected her to take longer to move on from me, given how long we had been together, but it plainly didn't mean much to her, and I'm now trying to make sure it doesn't mean anything to me either. However, things with my in-laws are going well. We no longer speak to Nicole, nor does she speak to us. We try not to bring her up because it's a delicate subject for all of us. It's sad, but at least we're a family now. My in-laws haven't amended their will yet, but they intend to do so when the divorce is finalized. We try to meet up frequently because we know we're all going through the same thing and can help each other. I hope it improves over time, and maybe someday it won't hurt so much. So, after hearing my story, I'm torn between the potential security this money offers and the deep-seated feeling that it's somehow wrong. Did I handle the situation correctly? Should I accept this unexpected windfall, knowing the pain it will cause Nicole? Or should I refuse, even if it means struggling financially? I'm genuinely curious to hear your thoughts and perspectives on this incredibly complicated situation. What would you do in my shoes? Share your advice and let me know if you think I am doing the right thing.